We sat down with over 30 people between the ages of 80 and 98 and asked them one question. What do you wish you'd done differently before you turned 40? Their answers kept repeating the same handful of themes. Here are 10 of them.
Margaret, 86, spent most of her 20s and 30s saving money for someday, waiting for the perfect time to finally travel. She didn't reach Italy until she was 71. It was wonderful, she said, but I wish I'd gone at 30 when my knees still worked. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. It rarely comes exactly when you plan for it.
Robert, 82, lived just 40 minutes from his parents for most of his adult life, but visited only a handful of times a year, always assuming there'd be more time later. His father passed when Robert was 36. I keep thinking about all those ordinary Sundays I could have just shown up, he said quietly, not for any occasion, just to sit with him.
Eleanor, 91, spent 30 years in a job she never particularly liked, too afraid to open the small bakery she'd dreamed of since she was young. I was so afraid of failing publicly, she told us, that I guaranteed I'd never succeed at the thing I actually wanted.
James, 84, waited 17 years for the right time to propose to the woman he loved. She would have said yes at year 2, he laughed. I just needed everything to feel perfect first. It never did. Nothing ever does.
Patricia, 88, spent her early adulthood saying yes to nearly everything, afraid of disappointing people. I didn't learn to say no until I was almost 50, she said. I wish I'd learned it at 25. Think of all those years I could have had for myself.
Harold, 93, didn't speak to his younger brother for almost 20 years over something neither of them could fully remember. They reconciled briefly before his brother passed. Don't let pride cost you that much time, he said quietly.
Dorothy, 89, wished she'd taken small, boring health habits seriously decades earlier. Walking daily, drinking enough water. None of it seemed important at 30. By 60, I understood those small habits had been quietly adding up the whole time. Walter, 90, spent his entire career in accounting, a job he was good at but never loved. He didn't pick up a paintbrush until he was 78. I have 12 years of paintings now, he said, smiling, and 40 years I'll never get back to make more of them.
Ruth, 95, carried anger toward an old friend for nearly 2 decades over a betrayal she could barely recall in detail by the end. I held on to that anger longer than the friendship itself had lasted, she said. Forgiving her was for me, not her.
And Alice, 87, said what almost everyone we spoke to eventually said in some form. I spent my 20s and 30s so worried what people thought of me. Now I genuinely can't remember most of their names, let alone their opinions. 10 different people. 10 different lives, nearly the same handful of regrets told in different words. Most of what scares us at 40 rarely turns out to matter much by 80. If any of this felt familiar, maybe that's this video's whole purpose. Not regret, just a chance to act sooner than they did. Subscribe for more stories like this.